Even the rain can't dampen the Christmas spirit. Well, we're going to get started. We left off last week with telling the story of the Good Samaritan. And that's where we're going to continue. So give me a moment. I'm going to take my glasses off. Now, I'm not going to repeat that story because I think now we all pretty much know the details of that story. But I'm going to read from our book. We're continuing an unhurried life, following Jesus' rhythm of work and rest. We are on the chapter 5 that the title is Unhurried Enough to Care. And I think that the story that the author put for that title, Unhurried Enough to Care, is an appropriate title for the scripture of the Good Samaritan, because there was one in this story that was not in a hurry. So we're going to consider, we're going to continue to read. And I am on page 79. Oh, excuse me, 80. We're going to start at 80. So I'm going to back up to let's see, the first paragraph on page 80, and it reads as follows. I'm backing up just a little bit. Much more is going on in this story Jesus told than people making excuses for not helping someone in obvious need. This parable is a powerful illustration of how hurry keeps us from stopping or even noticing when God puts a bleeding, hurting, lost, desperate, hopeless soul in our path. We are on the road. We have somewhere to go. We have a full schedule. The needy person along the way is an inconvenience, an interruption. I may complain that loving everyone in the world is impossible, but that's not what Jesus commanded. Our Lord and Savior directed us to care for the person who is actually crossing our path. And I repeated this, and I'll repeat it again. Proximity provides an opportunity to love. When we're close to someone, whether we know them or not, we have an opportunity to show compassion and to show love. The next part of this is the unexpected hero. Consider now the hero of Jesus' story, the Samaritan who traveled the deserted and notoriously dangerous road from Jerusalem to Jericho. This road had a nickname. It was called the Way of Blood. Wow. So this is a road that if you could avoid going around and not go through this road, this is not the road. I'm sure many of us can think of, if you drive, or shoot, even if you take public transportation, there are streets that you avoid. I don't know about you, but there are a few streets that I'll go out of my way, or a destination. I'll go out of my way to avoid that. It might be that it's just perceived by me that it's dangerous. It might be that I have witnessed a few accidents because people run through stop signs and don't stop. So when I say danger, I'm not always saying that I feel that, I'm going to be carjacked or robbed. I'm saying this doesn't feel like a road that feels comfortable for me to travel. When I was in Mississippi, there were roads. I love driving down Highway 61. I absolutely love driving to Highway 61. But Highway 61 is not my road for night, because there are no lights. And it's a 2-lane highway. So at night, I know that I'm going to have to drive 81 to get over to the I-55 if I want to go to or from Jackson. Why people what? Sister, is saying, why is it that people are so close on your bumper that they're in your lane on your bumper? I don't know why they do that. I understand. I can't speak for the other drivers. I don't know. But anyway, on 61, it's beautiful. It is absolutely, parts of it are just absolutely beautiful. And when I say that, until I moved to Mississippi, I had never really seen cotton up close and personal. And it is beautiful when it blooms, because as far as the eye can see, all you see is these white bowls. Oh my, they're so beautiful. And then when it's harvested, of course now there, a few hand pickings, but there were people in harvest time that I did actually see people picking cotton. But the machines come through, and then you could tell where the machine went because it's just, all the white's gone. And even if you haven't got to the cotton field yet, it's harvest time because all on the road is cotton. On the sides of the road is cotton. So you know that the truck has come through, even though it's baled. You see the bales out there, and I can watch them pick the machinery, pick it up and put it onto the back of the flatbed trucks. And although it's baled, it has, at the ends, it's not covered. And so it's flying down the road. Yeah, so I love driving down Highway 61. I love driving down the parts coming from Clarksdale back to Greenville, Greenville, not Greenwood. And the levee is just to the west. So again, there's nothing out there to block your view. And the sun sets. Oh my goodness. His crayon box is so full of colors that you just cannot imagine. So there, I would roll my window down. Sometimes I turn off the radio and just ride in silence and just be looking out as I'm driving at the beginning of this sunset. So that road was dangerous to me at night, but not in the daytime. But this road that we're talking about, this road that where the Samaritan was, they nicknamed this the Way of Blood. Jews viewed Samaritans as half-breeds who had intermarried with the locals and failed in every way to keep the Jewish race pure and unfaithful, contaminated, unclean. So this is what the Jews felt, the Samaritans. They was just, to them, they was the scum of the earth. They were, something on the bottom of your shoe. It's interesting that the author used who had intermarried with locals and failed in every way to keep the Jewish race pure. And when I hear that, it's only one race. Man has labeled everybody as another. It's only one race. God only made one race. That's the human race. And so when I see this, it always makes me pause and say, they thought that they defiled the pure race. The pure race is human. So yet we see evidence of unhurried love in this Samaritan's response to the wounded stranger. The Samaritan saw the wounded man. Now, don't forget now, the Samaritan is less than, unclean, all of that, huh? He's the one, the last person, based on what the Jews' view of him was, that he's worth anything. What's amazing to me is, are we not seeing that now? Now, we have been seeing it for a long time because we have been the unclean, the undesirable, the scum of the earth, the stuff on the bottom of people's shoe. So we already know what that feels like. We know, we can imagine what this Samaritan has felt like just in society. Who is that? He ain't worth nothing. But here he, the Samaritan, saw the wounded man. The priest and the Levi noticed, they noticed him. They saw him over there. They noticed the wounded man, but they didn't let themselves truly see him. What does that mean? We see people, but we really don't see people. I did a little exercise once in a workshop. I asked people to describe someone that was in the room. Now and this was midday, so this wasn't like they just came in to the room. This is midday. We've had lunch, we've chit-chatted, and I might say, tell me something about Sister Cheryl in what you have observed. What is she wearing? What color are her shoes? Does she have a necklace on? Does she have earrings? What do they look like? Most of us can't. What does Sister Bernice have on? What color is she wearing? Does she have glasses on? We could not really describe the person that we have spent the majority of the day with. Because I see you, but I don't see you. I see the expression on someone's face. I see the body language. She's not looking herself today. She's kind of bent over. She's usually sitting up and she's just, So your body language talks to you. Someone else's body language is saying, I'm not feeling good today. You watch somebody. This morning, Brother Robert Turner was limping. Hey, Brother Turner, how you doing? He said, I'm not doing too good. My foot hurts. You see someone, or do you see them? And that's what we, as Christians, a person doesn't always have to tell us how they're feeling. And many times we go up to someone and say, good morning, how you doing? I'm fine. But it doesn't sound like they're fine. Are you really fine? Well, you need to pray for me. Okay. You want to tell me what I'm praying for, or you just a general prayer for you? Now, my former bishop, when I was in Mississippi, I've had the good fortune of having two bishops. One, because of COVID, he extended his stay, and then we got another bishop. And the first time I met Bishop Swanson was at the church that I was working at. And it was a big deal to, have the bishop come. And so people were coming up to him. And they said, Bishop, pray for me. And he'd stop. And he'd stop right there and ask, how can I pray for you? And so we went down stairs for a little, refreshments. And I asked him, brand new. I don't know. I just met him. And I said, Bishop, why is it that you stop and pray for people right there? He says, because I have people that ask me to pray all day. And by the time I get home, I done forgot half of those. And so I used to do a general prayer for all the people that I met that asked me to pray, because God knew them. He said that was my attitude. God know what that person came up and asked me. He said, but I was not giving them a good service. I'm just kind of handing it off to God, saying, well, you know what she came up and asked me to pray for. You got this, God. Go on, pray. I'm praying for her. So he said, he stopped when someone said, will you pray for me? And he said, let me pray for you right now. And that's what I'm talking about, seeing people in their hurt. We don't have to be bleeding. I don't have to be bloody. I don't have to look like I've been in a fight, look like I've been, drug in with the cat. You can tell if you look at me when I'm joyous, when I'm not. I knew this morning, the minute I saw Sister Corleen, that Sister Corleen is bubbling. She is bubbling over. And when we sat and had our little coffee break, Sister Corleen couldn't hold it in and was telling us how happy she was. And that she wore his festive clothes today. She's sparkly because she had an opportunity to be with her grandchildren on Thursday. And she recounted the meal that she had, the fun that they had, what her little granddaughter that'll be 8 on a few days from now, what she said. She's bubbly. Now, it has to be rare, and I can't remember a time when I didn't see Sister Corleen smiling, a smile on her face. But today, this was a different smile. She was bubbly. She is just, and so I wanted to know what was it that put this smile on her face today. That's what I'm talking about when I say seeing people. So this Samaritan, this person that was less than in the eyes of the society, saw the hurt person. The Samaritan had pity on the wounded man. The Jewish leaders who walked by didn't let the reality of the wounded man's situation touch their hearts. They were unwilling to be affected by his condition, much less get involved. The Samaritan was different. He was willing to be affected and willing to act. See, that's the thing. Are you willing to act? Are you willing to do something? And to do something doesn't always require money. It just requires time. The Samaritan went to the wounded man. The priest and the Levite didn't. Wouldn't it make sense that the Samaritan had plans for his day just as the two Jewish leaders did? But the Samaritan's agenda for the day didn't keep him from responding with unhurried love to the man in need. Love stops when it encounters human need. Love doesn't just walk by. He went to him he went to him is very different from him passing by on the other side. I don't know about you all. It's the majority women here, but have you ever seen someone of another hue, and you walking either in the elevator or something, and they either walk on the other side of you or wait for the elevator or stand like they afraid of you? That look. Yeah. 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 Or you go into the store, and you want to make sure that your hands, nobody can accuse you of picking up something. That's in our psyche, right? I don't know about but that's how my mother, don't go in there in that store touching stuff, having people think you stealing. If you're not buying it, don't touch it. Yes. Yeah. And still put it up there. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 Anybody else got any comment? I know this has happened to all of us. There's no way that you are living in the United States and not had someone look at you as something less than. Ah, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So they don't even want us to touch them with the money, huh? Lay it down, and then if they give us change, and you got your hand out, what did he do? Put it on the counter, huh? So, Brother Julian, you had your hand up. She's. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm saying we know how the Samaritan felt because we have been treated just like the Samaritan. We get this. We get this story. We know how he feels, how the other people perceive him. But he's the one that helps. He's the one that stopped. He's the one that saw the person broken, bloody, something wrong with him. I'm going to stop. Not that he had more money that, oh, I'm going to go over here and, he didn't. He saw the wounded man. So let's go on. And his agenda. He was busy. He got something to do. It's not like, he's shiftless and lazy and had nothing else to do all day. He's busy. He got a busy schedule just like everybody else. So love makes time to investigate and to serve. According to Jewish storytelling tradition, the priest should have been the good guy in this story. Instead, he was the heartless and perhaps even fearful. He saw the half-dead man with eyes of judgment and or fear. Perhaps he was also thinking, this guy is probably a sinner. See? Just looking at somebody, we know he ain't no good. Huh? He probably had... This was a true story. My brother went to the Goodman Theater to a play. After the play, when he got up, he staggered. And the person, somebody in his vicinity said out loud, he probably drunk. And my brother said, I'm not drunk. My brother came home. He took the bus downtown. And he lived in South Shore. My brother was having a stroke and didn't know it. He wasn't drunk. He staggered, but people, and he's at the Goodman dressed. But the people around him perceived that he was a drunkard. Yeah. So we see people that are out in public and appear to be drunk, and they could be having a diabetic episode, some type of medical crisis, but we say, they probably drunk. Yes, Sister Birdie.
I thought about my sister Ruth. She left her home, going to the currency change on the corner, and she said all of a sudden she don't know what happened. And she was staggering, going back and forth, very confused. She didn't know what was going on, and they looking at her like she was a drunk woman.
Mm-hmm.
Found out when she went to the doctor, she had a tumor, brain tumor.
Yeah.
But nobody did anything, and she was trying to find a way. She didn't even know where she lived right then,
Mm-hmm.
until she said she had to stop. It seemed like she got herself together, some kind of way she made it home, and she still didn't know how she made it home.
Wow, yeah. When I worked at the church in Jackson, it's a lot of steps. The whole front of the church is, and it's got these columns. And so you walk up, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 steps, and then it's this big landing. And you walk up about 4 or 5, and it's another big landing. And you walk up, so you're walking up. So, and I was a member of the downtown part of Business Partners. I was a member of that group because we were downtown, and we are church is a business. And we had this one man that was he was just a horrible individual that always saw everything in the negative. He didn't want this, he wanted that. It was just, he was horrible. Well, he would go around and capture pictures of people. Well, there was a man and this was not unusual for the church, for us to have people sleep on the steps. And we never went and said, you can't sleep here. We never said that. We just would make sure our head engineer would say, now when you leave in the morning, make sure you clean around here, and don't use the bathroom up here on these steps. That's our request. And it took some time for people, the unhoused, to realize that we're not going to chase you away, we're not calling the police, but please clean up around here and do not use the bathroom on the steps. That sounds like what? That was our request. Well, this man was on the steps, and this ugly man took pictures of him, and he posted it on Facebook to show how downtown is turning into, we got all these people. Well, someone saw the picture of the man. The man had been missing for days. He had Alzheimer's, and he got away from home. And they have been looking and looking and looking for him. And they found him. We found out, and then they called us and asked us, because now they come out looking, and we kind of knew where people hung out. Because in the daytime, they didn't hang out on the steps. We fixed a meal, and then we kind of knew where people went for the rest of the day. And if we got a picture and we go through the rest through Grace Place while they're having a meal, y'all seen this man? He's not homeless. His family looking for him. Oh yeah. So we got a little patrol, our community patrol, that are looking for now. They looking for him. Well, they found him. This man was a businessman in downtown in Jackson for years. Had a construction company. He has Alzheimer's. He don't know who he is, how to get back home, any of that. But this person saw him as just another unhoused person, just another bum, just another nobody. But he was somebody's daddy, granddaddy, brother. He was somebody. And that's what I'm trying to get us to understand about this judgment. You see people and they're down on their luck. The majority of unhoused people right now are children. That's the largest population of unhoused people. And any educator can tell you that, because we have them in the school system. You no longer can say, well, you don't live in this district. So we have mothers that are still working, but they cannot, for some reason, something has happened, a bump happened, a hiccup happened in their life. Maybe their child had chicken pox or something. They don't have paid leave. They was off for 4 or 5 days, and their job fired them. Let them go, okay? But now if that mama had left them kids at home, there'd be somebody, some Karen gonna call DCFS and report her, and now she's afraid her children gonna be taken away from her because she's an unfit mother. So we don't know all these. See how we're judging, hearing all this stuff. She shouldn't have left them kids at home by themselves. Huh? She got a job that's paying minimum wage and does not have any benefits. But anyway, so now she either loses her job or she loses pay for a week. Rent comes due and she's short. I don't care if she's short $100, she's short, and management company will not take a partial payment, even if it's $100 and your rent is $1,200. They want all $1,200. Stay there for a couple of, she can't catch up. And in a few months, she is now what? Homeless with her children. She might have a car. She's gone from couch surfing to couch surfing. But see, we are judging, huh? So these folks judge and say, this guy, he got to be a sinner. Huh? But what are we supposed to do as Christians? Is not the church the hospital for the sinners? Huh? It gives us the opportunity. Yes, sister.
I'm going to relay what one of the online class members has said. She said she had a cousin that had hydrocephalus and narcolepsy, and people would think that he was drunk. He had meningitis at an early age that left him hearing impaired and later with other problems. And so she's responding to what you're saying about how we view people, and we don't really know the complete and full story.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for putting that in the chat, and thank you, sister, for reading it. Yeah. When Sister Cheryl is here, she goes online and reads the messages of people. So thank both of you for that. So let's go on. So this guy's probably a sinner. He had it coming to him. It's not my place to help. Instead of going near the wounded man, the priest took a wide path. That's my alarm. Let me know I got 10 minutes. The guy is probably a sinner. He had it coming. It's not my place to help. Instead of going near the wounded man, the priest took a wide path around him. The kind of avoidance is a strategy of hurrying. It's one thing to notice someone that can be done in a moment. Hurry glances, love glazes, and often stays and acts. In sharp contrast to the priest, the Samaritan saw him, but he saw not with judgment, but with mercy. He let the broken man's despaired plight touch his heart. He didn't harden his heart towards the man. The Samaritan bandaged the wounds with oil and wine. The Samaritan sought to comfort and care for the wounded man. He offered more than a basic exam and a quick Band-Aid. He offered intensive care. Love is willing to slow down enough to bear the cost of caring. Because see, there's a cost in caring. The cost might not be monetary, but time, as people say, time is money. So his time cost him something. But we know the rest of this story. The Samaritan carried the man to the nearby inn. The Samaritan took time to travel from this wilderness location to an inn in a nearby town. Who knows how far away it was or how long it took to get the man there? Love doesn't measure care in terms of time. The Samaritan took the initiative and acted on this wounded man's behalf. He traveled a journey for the wounded man's sake. How many more minutes do I have? 8? Oh, okay, I should be able to finish. The Samaritan stayed overnight with the man. See, if you read the little, we glance over the story and we forget those little nuances. That's a little, what? He didn't just give the man the innkeeper. He didn't just pay, hey, give me a room. Here's some extra money. When I come back this way, I'll make up my debt. He stayed with the man. He made sure that this man was okay. He didn't just leave him in the night. The Samaritan might have been able to entrust the man to someone else, perhaps a first-century professional caregiver. After examining the wounded man, our hero could have had someone else do the rest, but he didn't. The Samaritan was unhurried enough to stay overnight and care for the man. And staying overnight must have affected his plans, because he still got plans, y'all. Who, for instance, had been expecting him to arrive that evening? He was going somewhere. What items on the Samaritan's agenda went undone in the name of his love for a stranger? The Samaritan gives 2 days' wages so that the wounded man could rest and recover in a more comfortable place. The Samaritan provided for the man the time he needed to recover from his injuries. Too often, I want wounded people around me to hurry up and get better because they are an inconvenience. I want to get on with my life. But what is God's invitation for giving seasons of my life? Does what I am so hurried to return to really matter? Is it the Lord's priority for me? Or could regaining or retreating a sense of control over my life be more important to me than loving those around me? One more detail to consider. In the story, the innkeeper seemed nothing more than a bit player. But if I was a hotel owner, would I really want a visitor in such bad shape left behind in one of my rooms? The innkeeper, who may well have had little more than monetary motives, nevertheless did more for the wounded man than the priest or the Levite. The Samaritan planned to return. He intended to check in on the wounded man to see how his recovery was progressing. The Samaritan was also willing to pay any future expenses the man incurred. He cared enough to find out how the man's recovery was. The Samaritan was unhurried enough to truly care for others. When Jesus asked the expert in the law which of these was a neighbor to the man, he hadn't left any doubt as to the right answer. But the legal expert just couldn't bring himself to admit the Samaritan. Instead, he simply said, the one who showed mercy. Samaritans is only a category in the law expert's mind, so he isn't about to admit that a Samaritan would be more virtuous than a Jewish leader. In fact, it's also clear that the legal expert who asked Jesus about the meaning of love your neighbor was more interested in justifying himself than in recognizing and caring for his neighbor. Wow. That was a lot packed into 6 minutes. Thank you, sister. Anybody got any closing comments? Okay, sister, we got 2 back there.
I just wanted to say, as in reviewing the rendition of the Good Samaritan, the application amongst the applications include the passage that comes to mind, for as much as you've done this for the least of these,
Yeah.
my brother,
Yes.
you've done it to me.
Yes.
So when we show kindness, love, mercy
Yeah.
toward others.
Yeah.
We're doing it in the name of Christ.
Yeah.
He sees it.
Yeah.
And we are all made in the image of God. Whether we're believers or unbelievers,
Yeah.
we are to show mercy.
Yes.
So our deeds count to God.
Yeah, thank you. Wow.
Very quick story. When I was a student teacher, I noticed that one student used to be asleep all the time. So I addressed it to my master teacher. I said, I'm going to handle this. Just watch it. She said, before you do that, do you know anything about the student? And I said, no. I know he's asleep in my class. And every time I wake him up, he has to answer. He said, well, this young man takes care of his younger sister. His mother is an alcoholic and be in and out. Father don't show up. And he works full time at night to take care of everybody.
Wow.
So now I want you to go there and address him the way now that you know the information.
Yeah.
And my request from him was, every other day, wake up and continue to have the right answer.
Yeah.
But I was judging that the boy was just going to sleep and everybody saw it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wow. Both of you, those were powerful ending statements. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, everybody. And don't forget, New Year's Eve, if you want to ride, let the office know. And if you have an extra seat in your car, let the office know so that we can match you up. After service, there will be a celebration downstairs in Fellowship Hall with some food and music and fun. So just put that in your schedule. Okay, thank you, everybody.